too good. But nonetheless, I will triumph over evil, triumph over illness, to bring you a review of Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island. Now, let's just take a step back for a minute. Let's talk about the life, the legend, Martin Scorsese. Okay, so there's two parts to this. One, the filmmaker, two, the movie buff. One, the filmmaker, he's made some of the classic movies, and one of my favourite movies of all time. Let's just go through them. The Departed, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Mean Streets, Cape Fear, and of course, Taxi Driver. Now let's talk about the movie buff. He is a complete Hitchcock fanboy, basically. He relates to all Hitchcock's movies, especially Vertigo. He's a big film noir buff, and he basically relies on all of old movies, and it definitely comes through this movie. Now, when I saw the trailer, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought, wow, Martin Scorsese doing a kind of a supernatural thriller, kind of psychological horror. I thought, can he do it? Then I thought, right, I'm getting a bit more excited because it's by Martin Scorsese. Then I went and saw the film. Then I came out the film pretty damn disappointed. Now, let's just talk about the plot. The plot consists of Leonardo DiCaprio. He plays Teddy Daniels. Teddy Daniels is a US appointed US Marshal, whatever it is, and he's going to investigate the case of Rachel Solando. I can't do a Boston accent, I'm sorry. And he has a sidekick, Mark Ruffalo, and he meets Ben Kingsley, who is trying to persuade him to sort of take all these drugs because he's having headaches, he's been sick, and then while he's trying to find Rachel Solando, he's also on a vendetta to find his own killer who burnt down the house where his wife and kids were, and then it sort of comes to a very sort of predictable ending. Even though, yeah, people have said, oh my god, the plot twist is amazing. It's a very predictable ending, and it unfolds in the same kind of way that I've seen a million times. What can I say? Now, I just want to say a couple of good things. The acting is really good in this film, especially from Jackie Earle Haley. He was my favourite. He was in this film for like 5 minutes, and he was creepy as hell. He mixed in characters, I'll just say two, Rorschach and Freddy Krueger. Is that a coincidence? I think so. And also, Leonardo DiCaprio plays his character like a man on a mission, and he is a man on a mission in this movie. He plays his character with tiredness, with grumpiness. He just plays the part really well as a detective. There is only one thing missing from him: believability. He's still baby-faced Leo from Titanic. I'm sorry. And also, I think Mark Ruffalo could have been better playing Leo's character, but nonetheless he was really good as a sidekick, who later turns out to be someone else, but I won't give away the spoiler. All I'll say is for the spoiler and plot twist, it's basically one of M. Night Shyamalan's biggest plot twist and his best movie, if that's any spoiler for you. And also, the film starts off really well. It starts off really atmospheric, it leads itself up to some really disturbing flashback scenes, and it really works. It's setting itself up for a good plot twist. There's tons of different things that keep on twisting and turning in like the first 45 minutes, and you don't really know what's going on, and then it sort of just slows down. And also, the direction in this movie is great. I mean, this looks like an old movie, and it really does pay off from the title screens, from the music, from the quick cutting that Scorsese does. I really love the editing in this movie. That's where my praise stops. Let's just get into the negative. Let's just say that this movie was a bit disappointing. Scorsese, like my worry was for this movie, he would juggle too much on his plate. He did. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not a horror because it's not scary. It's not a thriller because it's not really gripping. It's not psychological horror because there's nothing really to make me think. And it's not a very good adaptation like all of the guy's other books like Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone, which is one of the most underrated movies of all time, I would say. It's a fantastic film. But anyway, and Scorsese just came off really amateurish in this movie. Also, Ben Kingsley, I really didn't like him in this movie. Yeah, it's kind of old saying Ben Kingsley's playing Ben Kingsley, but there's nothing new. There was nothing really creepy. What I did like about it is that Ben Kingsley was able to do not be the good guy, but not be the bad guy. He was sort of in the middle. It was a really cool scene, but it didn't really pay off. And the movie just really slows down. I mean, immensely slows down in the film, especially near the end, gets really long and drags. It should have been cut off by about half an hour, and it really does show. Also, in the script department, the dialogue, it doesn't really work for me. I didn't really find any of the dialogue that interesting, and all the characters, even through these disturbing flashback scenes, I couldn't really care for them. By the end, when the plot twist comes and you see the devastating aftermath of what happens to his kids, it just, I couldn't care less. I really wasn't engaged with these characters at all. Maybe it's the acting, maybe it's a script, but I say it's a script. So overall, this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Even though in the first 30 minutes, it kind of sets up to something that it should have been, but it wasn't. Also, the script's completely lacking, the soundtrack's a bit overempowering, and some of the acting was really dodgy. But overall, times for the first half, it's an atmospheric, well-made, and definitely well-shot movie with some great acting. But everything else kind of doesn't work. But here's my final say, sort of, right? Scorsese has made a movie that I didn't really like that much. But if it wasn't made by Scorsese, would I love it even more, or would I hate it even more because it's very amateurish from an amateurish director? It's kind of that question. If it wasn't by Scorsese, would I have been given it this score? Or if it was by someone else, would I be given a higher score, or would I give it a lower score? It's kind of odd because I'm really only giving this movie a 6 out of 10 because it's by Scorsese. Yes, you guys are all going to be hating me because I didn't like Shutter Island. Oh my god, Tom Chatterbash's dad didn't like Shutter Island. Hoo-hoo. I agree with him. I didn't really like this movie that much at all. It kind of works. I say rent this movie when it comes out, but no way you have to go see this movie. I just have big hopes for Green Zone now, which everyone has been telling me is terrible, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I will be back with most likely a review of Green Zone, and until then I'll see you later. Bye.